What's up guys, this is Wenzes. Welcome back to my channel where we talk about creating an epic life on your terms. Today I want to talk to you about incremental upgrades. I've been doing this process for the last couple of months and I didn't know that it could be that much of a difference when it came to how well I felt, how much improvement I made in my business, in my personal life, and just in my overall abundance. It really seemed like something that was not tangible, but now I know it is possible. I love the process and I really want to share with you because I didn't believe that there could be that much potential in it. Before we get started, I want to remind you, if you want to know more about the concept of creating an epic life on your terms and are ready to take the next step, then definitely check out the Epic Life Masterclass. You can also watch the free webinar or download the poster on the 5 pillars to an epic life. And if you want to work with me privately and specifically tackle the things that are going on in your life, then definitely check out my link on one-on-one coaching. All the links you find in the description. So what is an incremental upgrade? I learned this concept from Denise Thomas, and in the beginning I didn't really know what this is about. It was really said that you improve one little thing in your life that you could class as economy right now and you would like to upgrade it. So it would feel like economy plus, it would feel like business class, any kind of improvement that just makes you see a difference between what you've been doing so far and what you're going to do in the future. And that you can do this with little tiny things that don't really break your bank, things that just give you an understanding of, oh, I deserve more, I'm good with having more than I need, and for us to get accustomed to that feeling. As we all know, part of manifesting is really being in a state of abundance, being in a state of I deserve good things are happening to me, I have more than enough, I don't worry, there's no scarcity. And once you get into this mindset, and this is not a process that happens from one second to the other, this is a leaning into part. So of course I still struggle with this, and people who are like 10 or 100 times more successful than me, they struggle with this too, and they admit it. This is completely normal. And if you really rephrase it, it's not a matter of I struggle with this, it's just I can improve even more. I can be even more abundant. I can really get into a mindset where I feel it's all okay. And a lot of times when it comes to doing something that is out of the norm, you need to have that push. See, all of the time, and I still have that, every time I get to upgrade something in my business, let's say, and then from one day to the other, I know now I'm gonna add this part into my business, or I'm gonna improve my visuals in this area, or whatever it is, I always ask myself, why haven't you done this before? Why was it something that you waited on for so long? I'm never that strict with me anymore. I know that this is part of the process, but every time I'm still surprised how something that is so evident was outside of my scope. And the reason for it is that I wasn't at an abundant enough state to see this as an opportunity, to see this as part of me, and that this is something I can take on. So why does this happen? Well, it happens because my mind, and as everybody else's mind, is always focused on the status quo. We have over 60,000 thoughts every day. We make I don't know how many thousands of decisions every day, and over 90% of those are on autopilot. Over 90% of all our thoughts on all our decisions are the same ones we had yesterday. That's how much our mind wants to take away our stress, wants to make us feel like everything is easy breezy. So it puts us into this autopilot mode where we don't make the decisions for our life. And we feel this is normal, this is how it should be. And stepping out of that and taking on more things, which would require more energy on your part, is really something we don't want to do. Very often we're afraid, if I take on this, first off, it doesn't feel like something that would bring me more joy. See, when we act out of abundance, we really feel like this is something we can handle, we feel like it's something that excites us, and we feel like we become a bigger person if we take this on. This is the next right step. It really is a feeling that you have inside. It's not something that you just do out of a rational thought. It just feels like the normal thing, something that gets you excited, and something that is completely natural. It's like you're at a party and then there's this great song and you love that song, and when that song comes on, you love to dance. It's just part of who you are. It's not something that anybody forces you. You don't decide to dance because it's the rational thought that tells you, oh, now you're at a club, you should be dancing. No, it's your body yearning to have that movement because it makes you feel so good. And this is exactly what happens if you're in an abundant mindset and you take on the next step. So let's get back to it. So I'm here and this is my status quo, and I don't have anything that tells me, oh, do this. Yeah, this should be the rational thing. It would be rational to go work out, or it would be rational to apply to that job, but I don't have that feeling inside. So what are we gonna do that's gonna make us want to dance? What is it going to be that will make us to actually feel like doing it? Because this is the most natural thing. It energizes us, it makes us feel alive, and it's exciting. That's what it's all about. Because none of us want success, our personal success, our epic life, if it's just something that's written on paper and it's nothing that makes us feel completely alive. That's why I quit my job. That's why I decided to do this, because I wanted to feel alive. So this is where incremental upgrades now come into place. It's something that I did in the beginning out of a rational thought, but I did it because I was excited about doing some new personal development. This is what my intuition was guiding me towards, and incremental upgrades really helped me to bring it to the next step. So the basis of this concept is that every time you improve something little, for example, you decide to buy the more expensive chocolate, you decide to throw away your t-shirts with all your holes and you buy brand new ones, even if they're for $5, but you just have something that makes you feel like, oh, this is a good state, this is something new. This actually makes you even feel uncomfortable because you're so not used to it. You might think it's pretentious, you might think, why should I buy the more expensive chocolate? Like, it doesn't taste any different. Why should I do that? Well, you shouldn't do that with absolutely everything. It has to be something that you care about. Not everybody of us cares about all kinds of things in our life. And maybe we're already at a great state in a lot of them. But all of us can find areas in our life that we can improve, that we can say, oh, I want to upgrade. Maybe it's your wardrobe that you go on when you go on job interviews. Or maybe it's your website presence. Maybe it's the kind of people you allow in your life. But none of this is going to feel comfortable at first. It really is something that you'll only know once you try. Maybe buying the more expensive chocolate is not gonna make you feel any different. But that's maybe because you don't care so much about food, or because it really isn't better chocolate. But there are things that if you buy them, they actually have a better quality to them. They actually tell you that this is your new normal. And it can be a small little thing, but it still comes from a different kind of mindset. Because let's say you're at the supermarket and you're there with the chocolates, and let's assume, just for this example, the more expensive chocolate is really better. It has better beans in it, it has a much better taste, you actually like that much better, and on top of everything, it also looks nicer. And this chocolate with all these attributes that is better than the one you're always buying costs $5. And you always pay $2 for your chocolate. And every time somebody would tell you, oh, go get those $5 chocolates, you would think, I'm not crazy. Why would I spend $5 on chocolate? You know, that's the kind of mindset you approach. That's just wasting money. It's not gonna make me feel any better. It's just chocolate. Maybe I'm even gonna feel bad that I spent like unnecessary money on this, and then nothing's going to change. But you don't know that yet, because the reason why you're not choosing the $5 chocolate is because you feel there's not enough. You don't have enough money, or the feeling that you have when eating that chocolate doesn't really make you feel like it's worth spending $5. You think out of a scarcity mindset. You think of, what is the cheapest chocolate I can buy? And then you go for chocolate number A. But let's say both chocolates would cost $2. Which one would you choose? If you would choose chocolate number 2, then definitely try that out. Yes, you might feel after a couple of times, it doesn't really taste any different. It isn't really that better. And it doesn't give you that big of a feeling because you're not a person who attaches a lot of emotion to things you buy or things you eat. You know, this could happen. You never know. It could be the chocolate. It could be, as I said, clothes that don't fit or clothes that have any kind of holes. You don't know yet. But you know what the goal in all of this is? Is to understand that you do have the $5. Most of us who pay rent, we can buy something that costs $5, then most of the time we spend $2 on. You might think if you do this for everything, you're gonna be broke, you're not gonna have any money. But I'm not saying to do it with everything. I'm saying do it with one thing, with one single thing. And if you wanna invest in yourself, if you wanna grow, then spending $3 more a week is really an investment you should do. This is really not something that is gonna help you if you still believe that investing in $3 in order to see if this has a significance for you, you're not willing to take. You should be willing to to invest that little, you should be willing to take the risk of investing something in yourself that might not work out, but it might work out greatly. Because this is what can happen, and this is what happened to me. And with me, it wasn't really chocolate. Yes, I started buying some products when it came to like foods that were a little bit more expensive, but most of the time, I'm not really concerned with food. It's just not one of my biggest passions. I've never spent a lot of food in restaurants or anything like this. For me, it's more, things in the house, the cluttering, having really nice organizing things. Those are my things. But whatever you choose, what are you teaching your mind? You're teaching your mind you deserve the thing that's a little bit better. If you're used to buying a wine in the $1 store for like $1, the next big step is not going to like this fine winery and spending $300 or $1,000 on a bottle. That's too big of a shift and your mind won't be able to handle it. But if you say, let me upgrade, maybe even still in the $1 store, but I'll buy the thing that costs $2.50. And when you do that, you teach your mind, I deserve better than what I have right now. And you're pushing yourself to create a new normal that's on a higher level. And with that, you know what happens? You actually pull up other areas in your life as well. Because coming back to our chocolate example, up until this point, you felt uncomfortable spending $5 on that chocolate. And I know I have, and I know how I went into the supermarket the first times I heard about this concept, and every time I said, oh, this is not gonna work for me. Like, I cannot spend really here $3 more on this thing because, how much better can it be? I mean, it looks nicer and probably the quality is better. And maybe I even like the taste of it, but I can still go with the cheapest version because this is what I've been used to. But when I push myself and I say, although it makes me feel uncomfortable, I'm gonna challenge my mind. I'm gonna go for that. And I'm gonna do this week. You know what's gonna happen? You keep readjusting your normal. You keep readjusting the way you approach life. Because this doesn't apply to just the things you buy. This applies to all 60,000 thoughts you have every day, all those 60,000 decisions you have every day. This kind of approach that you have when it comes to buying that chocolate, you apply to all of it. So if you force yourself to overcome that limiting belief that you should always go for the cheapest thing because it's a scarcity mindset that you do within every of your thoughts, you're gonna keep challenging yourself to actually open up your mind of abundance to all other decisions as well. Of course, not to 60,000 of them right away, but you'll be surprised how big of a change it can make and how much big of a change it will make. You will be surprised because I never thought that this was possible. I wouldn't share this if this wasn't like this incremental change in my life. First, it started with me buying something that was actually of higher quality in the supermarket. Then the next thing was I have to actually get rid of my favorite jacket because it just doesn't look good anymore. I didn't want to let it go because of nostalgic feelings I had about my jacket, but every time I put it on, I felt like, oh, this is an old jacket. There are things like hanging here and there, and it just didn't make me feel abundant. So as much as I love my jacket, I said goodbye to it, I gave it to charity, and then I bought me a new jacket, and it really made me feel so good. And actually, the new jacket was even less expensive than my last one, but it was something new. It made me feel like you deserve something that doesn't have anything ripped off of it. You deserve something that makes you feel good when you put it on, and you deserve something that doesn't always subconsciously remind you this is normal for you. This is okay for you to wear something that isn't perfect. Because the scarcity mindset, what does that do with us? It really keeps our life small. It keeps our mindset small and the things we can achieve. So of course, we're not gonna feel excited and feel like we wanna dance when it comes to creating something better for our life. Because everything goes to this. I'm good with this. This is more than enough. Like, who would I be if I would get that more expensive things? Would I be pretentious? Would I be somebody of those capitalistic people who only care about brands when in the end it doesn't make a difference? There's so many stories we tell ourselves, but there are definitely things that you can invest in, and it can also be things that we don't invest any money in. So for example, let's say you have some really nice glasses that you never use. You say you're gonna use when you have some guests, but most of the time the guests are not there and they're just sitting there and you're not using them. Maybe it's a nice tea that you never really use because you think, oh, it's for a special occasion, but how often do you have that special occasion? You still feel like, oh, on a regular Tuesday, I don't deserve to drink this special tea. Or maybe you have some clothes clothes that you only wear on special occasions, but you could actually be wearing more often that will make you feel good. Another example is perfume. Maybe you have like these great perfumes in your bathroom, but you never ever use them. Start using them on a daily basis. Drink your nice tea more often. Like those are really upgrades that you can do with things you already have. It's not always about spending more money. It's about teaching yourself that it's okay to have more than enough, that there's always more, that there's no scarcity, that you're not taking away anything from anybody by having something nice for yourself. And you will see how this will have ripple effects in your entire life. For me, it really was the moment I said, I have to upgrade my business. It really got to a point where I said, there's just so much I can do. There's a lot of things that I can actually give freelancers that are better than me. Like somebody does my thumbnail, somebody does my video editing. See, all of those things, these ladies can do so much better than me. So why was I afraid to actually invest in that? It takes so much work off my plate. I can actually focus on the things that really make me strategize more, that really give me an opportunity to focus on my zone of genius, the thing that I can do best. But I wasn't willing to do that because I thought, I first have to have my business bigger. I have to get more income. Then I can do this. I can still do this by myself. But I had so much on my plate, I didn't have the space in my mind left to actually think about what would be the next upgrade. What would be the next best thing? How can I improve this? I didn't have the capacity to make me want to dance because everything that I was doing was filling my mind up so much that there was no space left. See, often we have to create a vacuum. We have to create a vacuum that will make us want to have that urge of, I want to dance, I want to create something. And then your mind will tell you what to do. When you're in the club and that song comes off, you're not thinking about, should I do these 3 steps or should I do those 2 steps? You just let the music flow. And that's how it happens with everything in your life. Everything that you take on, everything that will improve your life. If you're ready and willing to take on the next chapter and let's say dating, and you said, now I have the strength to start doing online dating, or you say, now I really want to take the next step and apply for jobs that can offer me more money. That will mean that I would have to invest more energy into it. It's going to be a little bit harder in the beginning, but there's so much I'm going to get back that it will help me to have the energy to actually pull this through, and I'll feel so much better on the other side of it. None of this can happen unless you're willing and ready to make little upgrades in your life. They will help you to open up this autopilot file. They'll help you to actually be present, to see what is working, what isn't working. And if you keep doing this every week in different areas, it can be, as I said, your wardrobe, it can be your living environment, it can be just like any little thing that makes you feel like, I should be satisfied with this. This is good enough. This doesn't make me feel like bad. But, there is a better alternative. And try it out. Maybe you see this is not for me. I, for example, understood a while ago that designer clothes are really not that thing that makes me feel so great. It just was something that I thought is gonna make me feel like I have more and I feel abundant, but it really didn't do it for me. But the things that really make me feel this way are nice living environments, are really changes that I see in my business, that I see that my online presence is better, that my marketing is better, that I'm making improvements because I have the energy to do that. But it can only happen if I actually align myself to a higher energy level. So going about the process of incremental upgrades will not only help you to change your current state, it will help you to acclimatize to a better state of mind, to a higher abundancy level, to a higher frequency. And once you're there, you have a much bigger capacity for abundance. So you actually feel a vacuum. And once you start feeling this vacuum, what do? You start dancing. You have the idea how to fill that vacuum up. So you can have a new normal again, where again, you don't have any more capacity to take anything new on. And you know what you do then? You keep upgrading. You keep upgrading. You always do something that is better. And if you feel like this is all selfish and this is not something I should do because this is all just about me, how can this be good? I want to be somebody who helps other people, who makes the world better. Well, then set other goals. You can have certain upgrade goals that are about charity, that are about donations, that you say, now I want to give $5 and in 10 days, I want to be able to give $6. Like, this is also something where you push yourself and you feel comfortable after you do that, because in the beginning it's gonna feel like, oh, I don't have that. Can I really spend that money? But again, it's a step of faith. Remember, I've said in one of my last videos as well, Indiana Jones, when he wants to walk and get like across so he can find the next big treasure, he has to walk on air for the first moment before the bridge actually appears. This is something we have to do. And if you think about it, your life is not going to be destroyed by you spending $1 or $2 more on something. You know, it makes you feel so uncomfortable, and if it does, that's one more sign why you should do it. Because if you feel this uncomfortable for spending $1 or $2 more, then this is a great sign that this is exactly what you should do, because you're hitting against your upper limits of how much abundance you can take, how much abundance you feel comfortable with. And once you push yourself, you're forced to get accustomed to that new state. You know, you can sabotage yourself, but if you're really open and really willing to say, okay, I want to feel good about this, you're gonna see that it's gonna make huge difference in your mindset. You're gonna feel excited about the next step, and this is what we want to get to. Really getting excited about life and our own unique voice coming through and telling us what the next step will be, how we can fill up this new area of abundance in a way that makes us feel more authentic, more happy, and more in alignment with everything our soul yearns for. I really hope that helped you. Let me know in the comments some of the upgrades that you want to take on in your life. And if you want to do some more upgrades, then check out my Epic Life Masterclass. The webinar is for free. You can watch that before that, and also the poster. And if you want to work with me privately and upgrade your life to even a higher level, because we can be that specific, then check out all my material on 101 coaching. And if you want to watch another video now that's in alignment with today's topic, then watch my video on how to set goals and actually achieve them in 2020. Like always, guys, I wish you a wonderful day, a great week, and I talk to you next time. Bye.